Hey, what's up? This is Laidback Luke, DJ and producer, Kung Fu athlete, and dedicated dad. Super exciting news, the Mixtour Pro is here. My own developed portable professional festival unit. In this video, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the backstory of it, show you all the new features, and towards the end, I'll show you the signature Laidback Luke features that I put in there. But here's the story first. About 4 years ago, I rediscovered the original Mixtour and I started DJing with it. About a year in, I had an epiphany of redesigning this and adding all these features that I was missing. So I came up with this sketch, and boldly, as a fan of Reloop, I just emailed them and I said, I love DJing with the Mixtour, but I want to add a couple of features. They were very much into the idea, and we set out to meet each other out in Amsterdam a couple of months later at the Mixmash office. And from their side, it had been a little bit silent, and so I didn't know what to expect from this meeting. Surely a proposal to collaborate, but other than that, I had expected nothing. For them to whip out these sketches, and obviously their design team flipped it into something Reloop worthy. This was such a nice surprise to me, and I was blown away by how it looked immediately. I took it back to New York. I had a couple of notes that I wanted to see changed. They implemented it, sent out a new design. I had sent them some feedback again, and bit by bit, everything came together until this moment in time. This is Gerald from Reloop himself, actually having a sample in hand. And wait a second, what was this one? This one right here, a mock-up. It actually doesn't work. These knobs over here, these are plastic, and I don't even know if I should say straight out of the factory, because there was no factory involved. I held it and it was like a dream come true. And can you imagine holding something that you can't actually use just yet? So I had to have a ton of patience with this, and my patience would be rewarded right 2 weeks before the big NAMM presentation. And I don't think I have that unit here. It might be in the Netherlands, but I got the unit, turned it on. It was only half functioning, so only one track could load, and I could see my hot cue points light up on the unit. And right the week before, they got the second track to work. And then I did my presentation at NAMM. Make sure to check out this card if you want to see that. And after NAMM, it became silent. Well, silent for you, the crowd, while we in the background were hashing out a bunch of bugs, a bunch of new functionalities, putting in the Laidback Luke signature features, which I'll tell you about at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around. And all of this was basically from trial and error, experimenting on the go and on the fly at the shows. Honestly, a nerve-wracking period of time for me personally. Gotta give a shout out to Christian from Reloop. Him and I bounced off of each other very closely, hashing out all the combos and all the bugs for us to arrive at this moment. Let me take you into the main features right now before we discuss the Laidback Luke signature features.
Don't forget, my Future of Creative DJing course is online now through the Tomorrowland website. Head on over to academy.tomorrowland.com.
The first thing you need to know is that the LEDs finally light up in the same way as programmed on the DJ Pro app. And what I thought was really important is to break away the whole transport area and put that right over here, so it's its own section. As you can see, now we have our dedicated section of the pause and play button, the cue button, the loop in and loop out, and the sync button, all separated from the hot cues. This was such a huge relief compared to the old Mixtour, where all of this was included in here. And when you look at the performance section, you'll see the split button. And what that means is that instead of only, say, 4 hot cues, you actually have access to all 8 hot cues that are in this track. It's pretty mind-blowing that on such a small unit, we have access to all the 8 hot cues there is. Instead of this just being a 2-player unit, it's now a 4-player unit. And how I access that is to press the mode button plus load, and all of the transport starts turning red here, and then you'll know you're on deck number 1 or track number 1. The same goes for the other side, obviously. So now you're looking at track number 1 and track number 4 on the small little unit. Let's switch back to track number 2, and there it is. The transport is blue again. I specifically chose these opposite colors for me to realize and to know whenever I'm in the middle of a DJ mix which track from which channel is playing. In the old Mixtour unit, the effects and the filter was under one button. I split that up as well. So now we have the filter here, and the effects are paddles right now, just as on the Mix on 8 unit as well. I think this is a signature Reloop kind of thing, because they opted to have paddles instead of buttons, but now it blends nicely into the whole Reloop family. Plenty more features coming up, including the Laidback Luke signature features, which are actually not in the manual. And because of you seeing this video, you are getting into the big secrets of this unit, so stay tuned. What I've also loved doing in this unit is implementing a dedicated stem section. And I had programmed the old Mixtour for it to be under the EQs, all the neural mix options, but now there's a dedicated button. So when I press this little N here and it turns orange, this means the EQs are now dedicated neural mix knobs. You know what? Let me show that on this side. So we have the track playing. Let's go a bit further. No beats. So the bass EQ takes the beats out. The mid EQ takes the melodies out.
Electronic dance music is created with machine.
And the high end EQ takes the vocal out.
In order to make the listeners interested.
And obviously we can do this vice versa, right? So if I only want the vocals, I'll take the beat out, the melodies out, and now we only have the vocals.
Electronic dance music is created with machines.
And we could put everything back in as well.
Listeners enter a state of euphoria.
And another reason why you should stick all the way until the end of the video is because I'm gonna have release dates for you. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I've often mentioned this, but the amount of freedom I get DJing with this unit, it makes sense, right? Because it's custom made for my desires and for what I'm doing currently in DJing. For me, it's such a sense of freedom. So these are the basic features of Mixtour Pro you need to know right now. Let's get on to those amazing, but probably even quirky, Laidback Luke signature features. I needed some shortcuts in the unit, and especially when I'm DJing in 4-deck mode, to see some of the notes I had made in the hot cue section. And so for me to be able to switch views immediately going from the waveforms to the hot cues, it's a shift and a neural mix button. This way you can switch between all the hot cues on the screen and the waveforms. Really handy. Now if you want to go from 4-deck mode to professional mode, you can utilize shift and the neural mix button to the right, and you can switch through the various modes until you get the mode you desire. Word of caution though, when your track is playing and you want to switch from 4-deck mode to pro mode, you might come across a bit of silence crossing the video mode, so be careful. But when you're going from pro mode to 4-deck mode, it's only 2 clicks away, 1, 2. There shouldn't be any silence there. Let's talk about key shift, because I wanted that to be right under my fingertips as well. So if I want to shift the key on deck number 2, all I need to do is to hold the mode key, hit the play button. When I want to go down, I'll press the Q button. Similarly, we can extend the loop and make it shorter this way as well, but not with the play and Q buttons, but with the in-out X button. And funny enough, Reloop calls this the Laidback Loop button and the sync button. So say I make a loop. Say I want to make it shorter. Very short. Now I want to make it longer, and I'll use mode plus sync button. And here's a gem that I've been working on with ALGORIDDIM as well. Shout out to ALGORIDDIM for helping me put in this feature in their software and onto this unit. We can now seamlessly make loops shorter. So not in increments. Let me show you. Let me switch the view right here. So it's going to be mode and the browse button. And now we can make it shorter, just like a flagship system. So happy with that feature. Easily changing tempo, that can be done as well. And I know it's tricky with all the key combinations and everything, but I'm letting you into my little secret as to when I am playing. If you want to implement this, feel absolutely free. If you can't remember this, then that's no problem at all. And you can just type the BPM in on the screen, right? So let's have a look at this 127 right here. Let's go up in tempo. What I need to do is hold the mode button and the shift button, and then the play button will be tempo up, and then the Q button will be tempo down. There we go. Tempo up and tempo down. And then the final feature, and this is a funny one because there's no jog wheels, right? But I still love putting a backspin here and there because on my phone, and maybe you've seen some videos of it, I would just do a backspin like this. On the screen and on the phone, not ideal. You can still do it, but if I'm in the mix and I'm heavily invested in this unit, the backspin and now would be the shift and the effects paddle on the track backwards. So going into hold mode. Let's have a listen. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Such fun to develop this, implementing the new technology with portability into a professional DJ setup. And with that, I mean, I've been DJing on this at the biggest clubs and at the biggest festivals in the world. And I kind of want to empower you that if you bring such a unit like this, you are bringing the same exact setup as that I am DJing on. I'm both nervous and excited for you to try this. I can finally announce the dates. Well, not precisely yet, but here you go. Let me read it up from my phone, which I'm still connected to my DJ gear with. The European market, good news, the beginning of July. And since we're right on the end of June, that's gonna be real soon. The US at the end of July. The units are coming out of the factory as we speak. Leave it down in the comments if you've pre-ordered yours. If you have any questions about the feature, if you have any improvements already, just let me know. I am here to listen. We are here to listen to you and your desires. And I'm also going to dive into the comments to answer a bunch of these questions. So let me know. In the next video, there's going to be more live mixes. So more DJ sets. You'll see this unit in action, in full action, in real action. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And I will catch you on the next one. Until then, L's up, rave safely, and salute.